Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today voices Winter Soldier in one of my favorite video games, Marvel Rivals. I'm so excited to welcome Eliah Mountjoy. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks. Thanks very much for having me. I'm doing pretty good.
Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to be here.
Like we were just talking right now before we started recording, this game is one of the most addicting games that I've ever played. I gotta ask, are you playing this on a regular basis as well?
Oh, you're not the first person to ask me this, and no, I'm not. Um, but that's not because I don't want to. I really do want to. In fact, I've been talking with Jordan a lot, who
Oh
I know
yeah.
you just had on. We're gonna start gaming together, and my pal Judy Alice Lee, who voices Luna Snow, she's a great friend, and we want to do the same thing. So. It's just been a crazy end to last year and a crazy beginning to this year, both professionally and environmentally and personally. There's been a lot of stuff happening. So I really want to play it. It does look like so much fun, and just seeing the memes going around, that's if that's not enough.
I love the memes. I'm constantly showing my boyfriend all, he doesn't play the game, but I show him all the reels that I get recommended on Instagram and I have to
Yeah,
explain them all. The best one that I've seen lately is how they just recently released the Fantastic Four trailer
yeah.
and then there's like a classic vintage looking car and then it's Galactica saying better stop that vehicle and I was like, "Oh my gosh. I can't get enough of the memes." So when I'm not playing the game
Yeah,
or interviewing people about the game, I'm looking up memes about the game.
that's awesome. Who are you playing, if I can ask?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to switch it up because you know how you can go in and you can see your stats and it shows like hours you've played each character. It was like Squirrel Girl was like this, and then everything else was like this. I was like, I gotta switch it up. The last couple days, I've been doing a lot of Loki and I've been doing a lot of Star-Lord because I'm like obsessed with his alt and I keep trying to like get as many of the enemy team as I can at once when I'm using Star-Lord's alt.
I've seen Star-Lord just wipe people out. And who else? Scarlet Witch. I've seen that
Oh
happen a lot with
yeah.
Scarlet Witch. Yeah, the game looks like a lot of fun. And I grew up gaming. I love gaming. I grew up playing games with my brothers, and we kind of actually struck it back up during the pandemic when we're all, looking for stuff to do.
Yeah.
So we kind of got back into the mix of it, and but like I said, it's just the last handful of months have just been nuts. So, but I will be there. I will be in the zone sometime soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Ah, so you knew some of the people going into this when you started recording for this game.
Yeah, yeah. I was friends with a handful of them. Most of them I don't know. Just know of. No, there's so many legends, in the game, and so many that I looked up to, so many that there are my role models. Um, but I don't know, maybe a quarter of the people in the game. Everybody's great. Everybody's cool. The people that I don't know, I'm sure they're probably cool too. The voiceover community has just kind of it's known for being really chill. Everybody's really cool. But for the people that I know really well, just to be in this game at all, it's just so exciting. And then to be in it with some chat with some chums, some pals, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's always cool when you can go into a project and know some of the people working on it and then also at the same time make some new friends. The game came
Yeah.
out in December. So have you had a chance to go to any conventions or do any signings or anything like that since the game
No,
came out?
no. I mean, I'm having a difficult time even getting to the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, there will be some conventions in the future. I've kind of held off until this point, just because I'm in Los Angeles. I'm just kind of staying in the mix, trying to get better at what I do, trying to be available to the work that comes. Um, and the people that I know that do the con circuit, they're like, there's money in it, and you get to connect with the fans, which is cool. I mean, that's a big reason why we do this. But they come back just depleted and exhausted, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, because so much of this work is, you're trying to you're trying to do your best work, and some of your best work needs to be in the audition, and that's how you book. And so I thought going into it exhausted. I don't know that that's where I want to be, but I think probably for this one, there's going to have to be some exceptions. So I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, plus all the cosplay. Like I'm seeing all these different like skins
Yeah.
that are coming out for all the characters. And I was like, man, the cosplay for this game is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I have to admit, last night I was looking at some cosplay stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what this is over here. Oh, this arm looks pretty good over here.
So
Um,
cool.
I think it would be fun to dress up and do some cosplay stuff too. That would be fun. I grew up doing that too, putting stuff on. I loved that part of it too. So I can see that being a lot of fun as well.
What are some characters that you've cosplayed as?
Oh, I mean, my like recent characters, I haven't actually cosplayed any of the larger characters I've played even. I just mean when I was a kid, I was Darth Vader,
Oh yeah.
or Superman. I was a big Superman fan. Spider-Man was my first love. When I was a kid, I got a lot of ear infections, and so I had to go. Back in those days, you had to go and get tubes in your ears,
Mm.
and and they had to put you under for that because it was a pretty invasive procedure. So I remember, man, I was young too. Like this is one of my first memories, one of my core memories. I just remember having kind of a dream coming out, waking up in that room where, all the kids are and they got like all the different cribs and Spidey whipping in, scooping me up and getting me out of there. And so from a very young age, I had a connection with superheroes and what they can do. And as things went along, I guess I had more of a penchant towards the the dark, the bad guys. So like Venom, is when he came on, because I loved Spidey. So when Venom came on, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, and the whole symbiote thing. But I really loved I didn't like just the straight bad guys. I liked the ones that were sort of in between. And like Moon Knight was a big fan of. I mean, I was a big fan of Moon Knight. I loved Moon Knight as a kid, just the way he looked.
Yeah.
It was kind of this mysterious, but like he had the hood and the cape, but he was white. Was all white instead of all black like Venom. But I preferred, like I was saying, Darth Vader. I liked that black. So when I got a chance the opportunity came to me to play Winter Soldier. It was perfect for me because he's kind of dark and tortured, but he's also kind of a good guy. But he's that halfway between thing. Logan, I guess, would be the adjacent character. But I mean, I'm not beating down Steve Blum to do that. That's his.
So how did this role come to you? How did you get involved with Marvel Rivals and how did you get to audition to be Winter Soldier?
It was through my agent. And like these kind of games there's lots of different avenues to get auditions or get into games, but like these big juicy ones, it's through the agents. So I auditioned for this one just like the rest of anything, and I had no idea. I had no idea what it was. Um, like even when I kind of went in for the first one, there was sort of I think figuring out who's going to voice who, and how are the voices going to be different from each other, and so. I remember there being an exploratory process in those initial sessions, and even then, it's kind of like, I do a lot of video game work, but there was no like indication where it was like, dude, this one's going to be a rocket. Like, hold on it's going to be amazing. It was just like, okay, this is what I do, and this is how I do it. And the team was really great about allowing that for that kind of exploration. And I got really lucky because Bucky it isn't quite established as a firmament in the lexicon or the zeitgeist of public knowledge, like Spider-Man, like Iron Man, like Thor, all the rest. So many of them are like, this is what this character, who this is, and what they sound like, and what they do. Bucky's pretty new on the scene. Of course, Sebastian Stan, who plays Winter Soldier in the MCU live action. He's awesome. But that's kind of really all we have, other than if you're a comic book fan, which I was. That was pretty much the only thing I could read. Um, so I just got lucky that he was largely unestablished, and I could kind of go over here and go over there. It's like if you're playing even Star-Lord say. Like there's enough movies out with Star-Lord. It's like, oh, that's not really Star-Lord. Or no, that's very Star-Lord. We gotta kind of go in that established direction. I think that this team, NetEase and Bright Skull, they've just done a great job leveling this universe of established characters and then making it all work together all the same time. I've seen the gameplay. It's just like so much, so much going on. And then, I mean, NetEase has done a great job balancing that because I've done just a little studying into the structure of, because I'm a gamer, duelists and healers and tanks and, how they all bounce. We need an equal kind of mountain. So I can see, by the time I do get to this, I obviously want to play Winter Soldier, but I can see like if you get into the team and there's like, and everyone's a duelist or everyone's a tank, it's like, you gotta be able to pivot and get over to something that's going to help the team. And I think that's really cool because that's what the superhero thing is. You're a team, and this person has this strength, and you've got this, and you got to come together. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. No, I love seeing the different dynamics when the different team structures come together because every game is a different, lineup. Sometimes you
Right.
get a few characters that show up a lot, but for the most part, I'm constantly getting different squads, different characters. And like you said, yeah, sometimes I'll get one and it's all tanks. And I'm like, well, if I'm Loki as a healer, I can kind of make three of myself and help heal. But yeah, it's just fun to get the different combinations and the different lineups and see the different character interactions, like characters that wouldn't normally see together, how they have to team up and do the objective together.
Yeah, you can kind of live out like your own episode. Like in what episode does Loki merge up with Venom and Thor and Squirrel Girl or whatever? Like it just doesn't happen. But here it does. And how's that going to work? Yeah, it's really cool.
So when you were preparing for this role, what kind of research did you do? Did you go and watch some of the movies or The Falcon and the Winter Soldier or read some of the comic books?
I remember the Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out in the pandemic. It was 2021, and I had watched that because I'm a fan of all that stuff. Um, but once I realized this was it, I did not. I deliberately did not because I'm an empath. I'm a mimic. That's kind of how I started doing it. Like it was when I was in the car seat. An ambulance would go by, and my mom had told me that I would mimic that, be woo, and that's how my brain already works. So I already had an understanding from having read the comics, seen the shows, the movies. But I didn't want too much
Mhm.
because I wanted to be able to kind of fill that spell that name, if you will, with my own performance. Subsequently, I actually right now am in the process. Last night, I was just watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just reabsorbing the lore, And I'm like, I got really lucky to play such a cool character. He's just cool. He's a cool character.
Yeah, no, I love him and I love how many different movies we've had. The other night I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, he's actually popped up in a lot of the movies. Do you have a favorite story? It doesn't necessarily have to be one of the live action MCU things. It could be a comic book, but do you have a favorite story with the Winter Soldier?
I mean, I remember the comics. His whole origin story is really cool, and when you learn what that is, you get why there's such a powerful bond between Captain America, and Bucky, and that actually Bucky was kind of Cap's like older older bro, like really kind of brought him up, like I'm gonna help you, and then you see that it's actually Captain America that kind of helps Bucky come back to who he is, and um, there's a really strong story in friendship there. And what we do for one another, and how we help each other at different times. Maybe sometimes for the same reason, maybe something for a different reason. But that powerful bond of friendship is really apparent with those two. And I don't actually know Brian Bloom, who voiced Captain America. I was just joking with a friend. I saw him at a holiday party at the end of last year, I didn't quite know but I knew he was really familiar. And I looked at him and he looked at me and we just didn't have that like, hey, I wish I could rewind the tape and go back and go, hey man, I'm a huge fan of yours. Cause I think he's been doing, Cap for 10 years or maybe more. So he is Captain America, you know, he's got that perfect Captain America sound. And when I saw the video come out, that first release teaser with, Black Panther and then T'Challa, and then it goes to Captain America. They just sound so much like those characters. And then Bucky came and it was my voice. I was like, oh God, oh God, I don't know, because there was no like that's what Bucky sounds like, and I
Mm.
just hear my voice. So so it was very strange for me because they were definitely like the blueprint of what they sound like. So I just every turn of this, I just go, God, oh my God, I got so lucky. I got so lucky to play this role and just have so much fun with it because he's been a great, fulfilling, fun character to play.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And your performance on it is excellent. Like, I love hearing you yell out your lines and your ults. Do you have a favorite line, or is there one that comes to mind of one that like
Yeah.
you loved getting to do different takes on?
Because I do so many video games, and one of the things I learned early was that my voice could do big screams and big shouts and kind of sustain that throughout the session. Um, because I haven't had a chance to play the game, really the memories are all I have of what I said, and so they're not very galvanized. I do remember this conversation I had with Punisher, Bill Millsap, who's also a friend. He's got such a cool voice. He's perfect for the Punisher. Um, they're talking something about being a role model, and Bucky's got this kind of awareness of like I shouldn't be anybody's role model. Like what I've done, nobody should look up to. And you get this sense of the character being like, I know who I've been, I know who I'm trying to become, and I'm somewhere in that in between. And that tension, that's such great fertile ground to play a character because they can go both. There's just all this dynamic range. So the delivery of Winter Soldier's very cool and laid back like that. But when he wraps it up, you're like, oh damn, this guy goes all the way, red lines it, and so so when friends would send me like the memes and stuff, where he's like, oh again, it's like that's crazy. That's crazy. Because I remember in the sessions, when somebody when your session, they're like, okay, we've saved the big stuff to the end, and they'll explain this. These are going to be the ultimates. It's like your superpower, and they'll play it like a thing for you. You can see like what he does. You go, okay, okay. So, and that's the best possible scenario where you can see who your character is, what the action is that they're going to do, because you're gonna take it all the way to 11, and there's only so many times you really can do that in a given session and still maintain vocal integrity. So they were really good about setting it up and being like, here's what it is. And you go two, three, maybe four times at that. And so I kind of remember doing those. But, when you see it in the game, it just takes on its own life. It takes on its own energy. And I think it's really cool. It's a really wild experience, but I think it's really cool to see a lot of people just connecting with that again thing. And yeah, it's a strange dynamic to because anybody who's a voice actor knows it's hard to hear the sound of your own voice. I mean, it's true for anybody. Nobody likes to say when you're leaving a message on your cell phone. Hi, you've reached Eliah. Leave me a message at the tone. And you play it back, and it sounds even worse than it came out. You're just like, God, why is it so hard to just leave? And it's because most times we're just overthinking it because we just want to be accepted, which is another great thing about Bucky. He has this. Part of him is he doesn't give a shit. He was just an assassin.
Yeah.
And the other side is that's no longer me. I do have a longing to be accepted. And there's constantly these dualities in him that make him just this really ripe character to play. And So yeah, those are some of the favored lines I have. One of them also was with Wolverine. It was I'm trying to remember it. It was funny because I think Wolverine's like, you know what we got in common, something like that. Um, I was like, other than being two really old guys that look good for their age, something like that. And he's like, no, um, we really like to tear into people or something. I was like, oh yeah, that. But he's also got this funny side.
Mhm.
He's got a funny side that can joke. It's just not this um, one note character. He's got a lot of latitude, and that's another thing that I got really lucky on. That he can play over here, he can go over there, he can go all the way back here. That just makes it really fun as for an actor to be able to have all this space and dimension to fill out, and not just have kind of a one track.
Yeah.
Not that any of these characters are one track, but it's like if you're doing Iron Man, which Josh Keaton does, he kills it. He does the RDJ so well.
Mhm.
But it's like that's what you got to do that and not sound too much less like him because then it takes us out of it, you
Mhm.
know. So there's a different responsibility for him to uphold that, which is amazing. That's surely not something I would be able to do. Mm. So I just got lucky to be able to play this character who I could had all this space to kind of to establish and play in this new voice print.
So the next time we know that Winter Soldier is going to make an appearance is going to be in Thunderbolts in May. Are you excited for that film? And
Very,
what are your
very.
expectations going into it?
I think it's going to be great. It's definitely on my radar. Another thing I'm so lucky about to have this thing kind of following up on it and have Winter Soldier kind of come back. Sebastian Stan, I mean, he's so perfect as Winter Soldier. And I would only, get so lucky again to meet him one day and to be able to tell him how cool I think he is and how cool it is to establish this character. I'm a big fan of his, and so I do feel a bit of that pressure to kind of uphold the. Is this a family friendly podcast or is this a
You can say whatever you want.
gamer friendly gamer friendly? But I would love to see him and be able to. You say, I hope I don't fuck up the character
Yeah.
because he's got that perfect dichotomy of tortured and all this heavy past, but also the strength to persevere, overcome who he was, and become somebody new. It's just a great character.
No, I totally agree. Are there any characters that aren't in the game yet that you would like to see Winter Soldier interact with?
Oh, they're releasing all these new characters and stuff, but um, yeah, that's a good question. I haven't actually considered that before. I hope there is because I hope they bring me back in for some DLC content where you get to record some more.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, if when we get to May and Thunderbolts comes out in theaters and they want to add some of the Thunderbolts to the game, like Red
Mm.
Guardian or Yelena, they're going to need some additional dialogue from you. So that'd be pretty awesome to go back and
Yeah,
add some more stuff in there.
good call. Yeah, I hope that is the case. Honestly, whatever venture it is, I would just be so overjoyed to come back in and record more. It's just been so awesome.
Yeah, and I cannot get enough of the game, and I really enjoy hearing your lines throughout the game. So later today, I'm gonna get better with Winter Soldier because I'm not the greatest with Winter Soldier. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I've
I
heard
think I'm
he's
better with
hard.
healers,
Yeah.
so I got to get better at it. But I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your day to be here and for talking all things Winter Soldier with me. If people want to follow you and keep up with, when you are gonna start streaming and your appearances, where would be a good place for people to come and follow you?
Yeah. Almost all my social media is just my name, Eliah Mountjoy, straight across the board. My Twitch, which I just established and recently just friended Jordan because we're going to merge forces here. That's Eliah Mountjoy, Catman, because I got a bunch of cats, so I'm posting those all the time. But yeah, it's just my name. So I love this community. I love engaging with everybody. So I'm happy to have people reach out and say hey. So they can find me at Eliah Mountjoy.
Oh, perfect. Well, Elia, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the game.
Thank you so much. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
there.
Bye.
Bye.